Dolphins move to 7-3, hashtag in the mix, in the hunt for the number 1 overall seed. Of course, they didn't score a million at home like they had, but Miami still takes care of business, gets the win when they should get the win here.
Yeah, this was a bigger grind than it could and should have been, I guess. Like they made some mistakes on offense as well. They weren't quite one of the teams that were seemingly absolutely intent on throwing the game away, but they were making their lives more difficult than it needed to be. Tua had a turnover on a fumble after picking up a first down to scramble. It wasn't even necessarily a great punch on the ball. It just came loose while he was when he would take the hit. That obviously made their life more difficult. Tyreek Hill showed one of those picture-perfect plays of just how ridiculously fast he is.
Yeah.
Catches this in-breaking route, classic Tyreek Hill Miami Dolphins play, and then just accelerates past everybody through a gap that shouldn't have been there, right?
Yeah. When we say Tyreek Hill makes the stats look better, it's that. I mean, that's what he did against Buffalo in that historic division game a couple of years ago when he was with Kansas City still. It's here's this 15-yard in-breaker, good throw quarterback. You've earned 15 to 20 yards with this throw. And then Tyreek's nope, I'm going to turn it into 65 in that particular game, or this game, whatever it ended up being. I'm just going to turn it into a touchdown. Yeah, he's fast. If he was dominating in this game, then he gets a hand injury. I think there's a couple. Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans are two receivers who, if you're a fan of their team, they must scare you every single week. Mike Evans plays to the point of exhaustion and he's always limping and he always looks like he's hurt, and then he comes back. Tyreek Hill, a couple of weeks ago has the hamstring. It's oh no, the hamstring. He's done. The hamstring, that's going to kill you for 6 to 8 weeks. Nope. And now he has a hand injury, goes into the locker room, and it's well, if he broke his hand, he can't recover from that. And he missed a couple plays. So he's back. Tyreek Hill just has a lot of these injuries that look really bad, and then he's back a few plays later.
Yeah.
But he ends up with 146.
He just leaves the game a lot and then return.
He does. 146 yards on 10 catches for Tyreek Hill. But yeah, the Raiders hung tough, man. They hit the Antonio Pierce era. It sounds like he's made an effort to get the ball to their playmakers, right? Run Josh Jacobs and highlight Robert Spillane on defense, who had a really nice near interception on Tua. But Davante Adams, he gets his 13 targets. They hit him with the 46-yarder on the throwback early, and it's all right, they're going to hang tough here because they're feeding Davante Adams. But, man, there were other opportunities to hit Adams later in the game and in the comeback attempt, and O'Connell, what is his third NFL start? Not looking great there. Missed a bunch of throws.
Yeah, he did. The touchdown was a weird play as well. The shot to Adams. I don't think it was a badly thrown pass, but it was brutal safety play. The far side safety, the one the ball was going towards, just takes an awful
weird angle
and just falls over in the course of trying to go towards it. Basically just runs into Adams and hits the deck. And ends up being a catch. The backside safety obviously never had a shot one-on-one with Adams. So it's just one of those weird plays where it's difficult to credit the quarterback too much for that. It's a shot. It's against safeties. It's not a bad look, but you think anything other than the safety, running into the receiver and falling over, it probably ends up being something different.
You don't want to give him credit for that?
I'm fine with giving him credit for it. I'm just my question would be, how good does that look if the safety does anything in normal spectrum of play?
Fair. Tua had, I mentioned that the turnover-worthy play he had. Robert Spillane did a great job of, how often Miami's just throwing anticipation throws to the middle of the field. Spillane just sprinted to the dig, and Tua threw it anyway. That was in the red zone. Miami was up one of the plays of the game, really. Because if he just catches that takes points off the board for the Dolphins, maybe changes the complexion just a little bit. But I was impressed by, look, the Dolphins are too good offensively. They only scored 20 points, but they created some chunk plays when they needed to. Tyreek Hill doing his thing. Raiders really hung tough, but I thought they had some opportunities. And then Jalen Ramsey with 2 picks in this game. Diving interception, and then the one at the end, O'Connell kind of heaves it in their desperation mode, and Jalen goes up. high points it, lands on the ball, looks like he knocked the wind out of himself. I was feeling the pain through the TV. But a couple big plays there by Jalen Ramsey.
No, he had a couple of really nice ones. Both of them actually were the type of play we were talking about preseason, right? Why Ramsey fits so well in this Vic Fangio defense. His vision and anticipation and knowledge in zone coverage is probably as good as any cornerback in the NFL. Like those are the plays where he's great, when he can drop back, read the quarterback, and then drive on the football. He's way better at that than he is playing man coverage, matching up one-on-one, and trying to stick with a receiver. And these are the plays where he's able to get interceptions and make a play on the ball and break it up and just make sure it's not complete. Gets a nice interception and the game ender.
Yeah, and he was targeted 10 times, Ramsey. Only gave up 1 catch. Now, the stats are fun, and we'll probably tweet it out and get some good traction here. But and the grade's going to be great for Ramsey because of those 2 interceptions. They were spectacular. But on those 10 targets, I'm looking at the incompletion reason here. The biggest one to me is minute 52 left in the game. By the way, Devontae Adams versus Jalen Ramsey, just as a matchup, is incredible. But Devontae does a little double move. He's wide open behind Ramsey, and O'Connell overthrows him by about 5 yards. That would have put the Raiders at about the 50 with plenty of time, down a score. So Ramsey played great, but on those 10 incompletions, we have behind receiver, overthrow, drop pass, underthrow. I mean, there was some inaccuracy coming from O'Connell, but credit Ramsey, turns 2 of them into turnovers. Of course, the game clincher with that last interception. But my point in all of this is there were plays to be made. I have to say, I know nobody cares about Jimmy Garoppolo. If you're the Raiders, you don't want to necessarily build around him or anything. If they are going to play this tough style and keep games close and everything, I feel like they could actually win some games win more games if they had Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback. That's all I'll say. But I'm more intrigued by what Aiden O'Connell can do. There's still some good stuff in there, but yeah, the accuracy was not great in this one.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, you're back to what was the offseason question, which is like, what's the point? Like, sure, Jimmy G gives you a better chance to win.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Like, who cares?
I'm not saying put him back in or anything. I'm just saying, like, if Garoppolo was playing this game, they might have actually pulled the upset.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter, but that's just seeing the way it played out, the way O'Connell played. I think Garoppolo would have hit a few more of those throws.
Sure. He also, I would entirely buy the idea that he could easily have matched the 3 interceptions. Like, Jimmy G is well capable of those as well.
No, I get it. Anything else to add on this game? Devin Achane comes back 1 carry and then gets hurt again.
Yeah. Not great.
Yeah. I thought the only other thing I'll add, I thought Miami's defense did a really nice job. They bottled up Josh Jacobs. I think we mentioned in the preview show, if the Raiders are going to chase this 25 carry game or whatever for Josh Jacobs, he only ends up with 14 carries for 39 yards, 2.8 yards per attempt. Miami clearly was doing everything they could to stop Jacobs, make the Raiders one-dimensional, put the ball in O'Connell's hands, and they ended up doing that and coming away with the win.